Hi everyone, Luke Davids here. Welcome to week 5 of the songwriting series where we've been taking a look at the key elements of a song, going over some practical techniques and formulas you can use in your own songwriting, and just covering any tips in general that might be helpful. In last week's video we covered the third element, chord progression, and talked about a tool that you can use to help mature the sound of your chord writing. If you haven't had a chance to watch that video yet, be sure to go back and check it out. I'll put the link in the description. Today we're going to be talking about the king of all elements, which is melody. Even though each element has their own specific goal, ultimately they all exist to serve the melody. Melody is often the element that we hear the most about, and for good reason. I say with a little caution that it's the most important element, but what I really mean by that is that it's the element that gets most noticed by the listener. On the first few listens of a song, very few people are paying much attention to the lyrics. The groove is something that's more felt, and the chords really just work in the background as part of the canvas, meaning that it's the melody that is the focal point for the listener. With this being the case, we want to make sure that we're writing melodies that are engaging and that are emotionally impactful, since the main goal of melody is to emotionally move the listener. One of the ways we can do this is to follow a formula that's designed to maximize the emotional impact that a melody has throughout the duration of a song, and this is something I call the melody arc. In films you have the story arc, which represents how the plot develops throughout the duration of the film. The melody arc is similar to this, as it represents how the melody evolves throughout the duration of a song. So the lines that are weaving through the different sections of a song represent the note range of the melody. If you saw the video on song structure where we covered a typical pop song structure, you might remember that that formula was broken down into 3 chunks. And that song structure outline is what we're using for the melody arc. And you can see that that's sort of mimicked here, where the first chunk, which is verse, pre-chorus, chorus, and the second chunk, second verse, second pre-chorus, second chorus, they do the same thing. They start low in the verse, ascend through the pre-chorus, and then the melody stays in a higher range during the chorus. It's not until the bridge that that pattern is broken, and the bridge is sort of a case-by-case basis. Often the bridge will go even higher in the melody than the previous chorus did, but sometimes it'll stay the same, or if it's a breakdown, then the melody might come down in range. Then the last chorus, which is sort of the final showdown, the big finale, most of the time the melody is going to go even higher than anywhere else in the song. Then for the ending, you'll either end big, where the melody will stay high, or you'll bring everything back down and maybe tag the first line of the verse, and the melody will come down to that lower range again. So that's an overview of the melody arc. Now let's hear it in action. As you listen to the example, notice how the energy of the song changes as we move from the verse to pre-chorus into the chorus. It should feel as if it's amping up, as if the emotion is increasing. And especially in the bridge should feel like an emotional high point of the song. For copyright reasons, I'm going to use a song example that I wrote, but like with a typical pop song structure, once you hear this melody arc in action and put the pieces together of what's actually happening, you'll most likely start to hear this being used in a bunch of other songs that you hear.
Time's been good to me. soul. Fighting for control over what we never could own. I know that you think I'll be holding you back, but since you've gone, baby, I've grown. You're holding on to what you've seen. Baby, time's been good to me. You're holding on to what you think you saw. But baby, there's more, and I need your hope. You can't be sure of what you don't know. I can be all you need. Trust in me. Trust in me to fix a love that's old. And when you're on your own, tell me that you ain't ever missing me at all. And when you're on your own, tell me you're happy. Tell me you're whole. 'Cause baby, there's more, and I need your hope. You can't be sure of what you don't know. I can be all you need. Trust in me. Trust in me to fix a love that's old.
So that's an overview of the melody arc. It's a helpful tool to use when writing, and you may even find that you've already written songs where the melody follows something close to this. It's sort of an instinctual progression that the melody takes throughout a song. But writing to this formula will ensure that you're achieving maximum emotional impact with your melodies. So that's it for this week's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Next week we'll cover the last of the elements, which is lyrics. We'll figure out which of the two major lyric writing schools you fall into and cover some general tips for lyric writing. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all next week. Bye.